Hello everyone and welcome to Moonrat. This is Dave Johnson. I'm channeling the man in the moon today. I'm going to look at some political topics, some kind of scandalous, interesting topics. The first one is, does Trump have syphilis? There are some photos that make it look like he does, and certain people like James Carville are speculating that he does. It would explain a lot of his behaviors. The second question is Roger Stone. He's been caught on tape, believe it or not, threatening to kidnap a couple of the. I think actually not even kidnap, I think murder a couple of the senators. Let's see, I can't remember which two they are, but hey, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're murdering senators. How cool is that? uh, anyway, let's take a look. Number one about Trump. And let me just be clear, it is speculation right now. There's just these marks on his hand that look pretty suspicious. That's why I'm going to do this video, because I don't have an idea yet. And I do get there are, James Carville has pretty strong feelings, and I really like him. I think he's a really honest person. But wow. Uh, so I am seeing a James Carville image. Whoa, and you know what? Trump had many, many sexual experiences with some, let's say, busy ladies. I get the impression that they were, some of them were for hire, like Stormy Daniels. Yeah, I actually get one lady in particular. And she does look like she's in the business. So, this woman might have been something like an exotic dancer. Trump was younger. Before I move forward, I'm just going to ask Spirit directly. So, did he do it? Did he get it? Okay, the answer that I get is yes. And just for your information, when I get a yes, it kind of looks like this. When I get a no, it looks like that. Took me a while to figure that out. But yeah, and I don't want to go into too many details of Trump's sex life. I just want to be very honest here, and there's no judgment here. I don't care if people do that for a living, but obviously, there are risks. What else do we get to know about this? All I can say beyond that is, because I basically get a yes and I don't want to see any more stuff, is I get him at a certain age when he is younger and better looking. So, keep in mind, some of the women might have been attracted to him, and, he wasn't gross then. And understand, he wasn't a crazy person then. I mean, Trump was supposedly a Democrat for a while. He gave money to Democrats uh, until a certain point. So maybe that is what happened, that he wasn't crazy and then he was. And he just tapped into the craziness of the right wing and it became its emblem. That feels important. Four-leaf clover, I don't know what that means. Just it just gives me a feeling of, it's rare, it's not common, and I don't think such a disease would be too common at that time, although apparently syphilis was a big problem in the 80s and 90s in New York City. Well, maybe I'll ask this: is it going to get worse for him? Because that's a feeling I get. And it's the marks cover his body. They seem to grow there and make him very uncomfortable. You know, I always saw this thing with Joe Biden. He always, when I would think about him, is he going to succeed? He always kind of winks at me like, look, there's something you don't know yet. That something's going to come out that will make this just a cakewalk for him. And it will be, the wink kind of means like it's a surprise. So is this it? Is this what we've been waiting for? All right, I'm getting a pyramid again. I think that it's almost like the truth is coming out on his skin of what kind of a person he is. Obviously, in some ways that'd be great for us. It's like, wow, look who the Republicans support, what kind of a person they support. And it's not like he, got that from his wives. Okay, well, let's sink him. I get him, yeah. Right, I think that it is, you know, less relevant than the things that he has done, but it is more potent as a political weapon if he obviously has syphilis. Let's take a look at Roger Stone. First thing I got out of Stone is that he is nuts. He is absolutely nuts. There's a sort of a thing where Elon Musk, smoked a joint on a radio show, and it just, what are you doing, man? You're a CEO. If you did that on your private time, that would be one thing, but you're putting it all, there's no reason, no benefit to sticking that all in our faces, just the idea that you don't have to follow any rules, social rules. It's just, how does that support your business, among other things? But it's just kind of an insult to all of us. We don't get to do that. And why are you doing that? That's just the first thing that I get with Roger Stone is just, with Stone, people accept what is totally unacceptable. And he enjoys that. He enjoys doing what is unacceptable. He has no filter and no limits. There is no one to filter or limit him. He is able to do anything that he wants. You and I would not be able to plot the murder of Nadler and the other senator. It still hasn't come to my mind. But y'all know who I mean in a moment, I think. In any case, it's outrageous that someone would do that. And now that he's been caught on audio doing that, why is he not in prison? You and I would be in prison if we did that. So I do again get a yes for this. Simple yes that, obviously he did that. He's claiming it's AI. I don't think there's any question that it is an AI. There's two things, too, that he's got a fork in one hand and a knife in another. And it's like, this is his dinner. So if you give me a plane's going over my head, this is dinner, and it's almost like we're dinner, or it's sort of a madness that says this kind of controversy is what he has to offer. This outrage is what he has to offer us. it occurs to me there's videos of him acting in ways that are absolutely just not inappropriate. They're just nuts. No one would act that way in a courtroom, for example. I think there are videos of this around. And here's just another example where there's rules for the very rich white guy, and then there's rules for everyone else. Yeah, this is now he's eating meat and potatoes. This is the meat and potatoes of who he is. This is how he makes his money and how he gets support from the, extreme right, which is, you know, the Supreme Court has allowed the extreme right to pour cajillion dollars into people like Stone so they can say outrageous things and uh, encourage people to murder senators. So, Spirit, is there going to be a consequence to this? Yes, there will be consequences. They're complicated, though. Because now my pyramid's going in different directions, both up and down. It's it's not going to be so easy. Yeah, interestingly enough, the two pyramids that make a star for me are sort of separating. One goes down into the earth, one goes sort of above, and it just hovers above the ground. Roger Stone's image is in the above one, and it kind of floats away. I wonder if Roger Stone will, sort of disappear in some way, and that could be just the end of his life, or will he go to jail? I actually get again that he will go to jail, and that there will be consequences for him. I see him in jail with his hands, sort of chained um, outside of the bars. And it's sort of like, hey, this is the first time he's ever had to reflect on anything that he's done or said. This is the first time there's ever been any consequences. The Biden administration is going way too easy on these people. If it were Trump, he would be out every single day talking about this stuff. And Biden is trying to be even-handed and fair and allow the Justice Department to talk about it. But I think it's too much. I think that there needs to be some public reaction to people recorded, asking for the murder of our senators. How can we allow this in our society? So maybe Biden is going to say something, because I see it as a tentative thing. But again, he's kind of giving me a wink wink. Biden's been a political player a lot longer than I have, right? I'm not a politician. What would I know, really? So it might just be some really reasonable long-term thinking on Biden's part. The Justice Department will do its job. I shouldn't look like I have my hands involved in this. But it's something that he'll maybe talk about on the campaign trail, and he should talk about the disparities in justice for different people on this planet, and how wrong it is, and how this is undermining our democracy. It might be that they've figured out that this is important enough for the American people to vote against the Republicans, and that they really do know what they're doing this time. So we might give them a little bit more credit, that is the Democrats, than it would seem. Keep in mind, it's really convenient to blame everything on Democrats because they care. So you're not going to be able to blame it on Republicans. They'll just tell you it's all about Hillary's emails. It's a complicated time that we live in, because there are things we want Dems to do. and they're not able or politically able to do those things and survive. And this doesn't justify their behaviors, but it does explain that they are, somewhat limited. And it does also tell us, look, you can't just blame everybody else. We have to take responsibility for our own government. And I know that's extremely difficult because you're just one person watching today. But insofar as you can respond, even if it's just right now saying, hey, this is wrong, you're doing your part. You're doing what you can. I would like you to take more hope out of this. Things actually really are lining up for justice. The Justice Department is prosecuting Trump along with Fani Willis. So, the government is to some degree being tested, and to some degree it is responding in a fairly good manner. At least much of the time, it is doing its best to right the wrongs. Thanks so much for watching.